Welcome to Kentucky. Labor Day weekend was a heck of a day to arrive with the park fully packed and a parking spot a little too tight for our lack of experience backing in trailers. As soon as we pulled up, 3 truck drivers came out and directed me into our spot. I couldn't have done it without that southern hospitality and dad-like instinct to teach. First stop, the Ark. Yes, that Ark. Full scale, landlocked. On monument to commitment in cedar. No real animals in the Ark, but plenty of fake ones. All the real ones were outside in the nearby zoo. Then came Jephthah Creed, a distillery where there are parties on the back lawn and an old car on the patio, and the corn is grown just down the road by the founder's husband. The mother and daughter team that built Jephthah Creed have brought their own unique experience. And no, we don't actually like bourbon after all, but the pizza was good. Lexington was a cute downtown area with numerous old restaurants with centuries of history. We took a food tour where we were treated to foods rich in history like chicken and waffles. In nearby Georgetown, we walked the small block of downtown and discovered Denver steaks at the butcher and chocolates worth crossing a busy street for. We grabbed a box for ourselves and one for the family we were about to see. And Cora? Well, she sat this part out, under the weather with raging allergies. And after a couple trips to the vet, she was on her own road to recovery. Finally, we couldn't get out of Kentucky without hiking Gray's Arch. There was a tough climb at the end, but worthy of the view once we got there. But on the way back, a gut punch. All the journals of all of our trips so far, they weren't getting saved. We've been trying to remember everything we had done ever since, but both our memories aren't what they used to be. Welcome to West Virginia. Crossed the border, and the fluffy mountains started poking out of the ground. We're used to spiky ones without trees on the peaks, but West Virginia mountains are much older, a bit shorter, and hid underneath the forests growing on them. We stayed in a park so empty we felt like we were breaking some rules. It was hard to reach and harder to leave. The kind of place where you meet RV folks from Colorado and swap stories like you've got all the time left in the world. But it means we also had a run-in with some cows. Well, one, maybe, I don't know. It was on the other side of some bushes, but sounded very angry. One day we traveled far north to Paw Paw, a childhood summer retreat, our camp, a cabin my grandparents built and our family had until the early 2000s. About an hour south of where we stayed was the Green Bank Observatory, where we saw numerous radio antennas. One in particular has a surface area bigger than a football field. It's an isolated area of West Virginia used to protect it from the radio interference of nearby people and devices. These pictures were taken with a 1900s style disposable camera because electronic devices are forbidden past a certain point. Even the spark plugs of engines caused too much trouble, so our tour was conducted in a diesel vehicle. Onward we went to Blackwater Falls State Park, where the water plunges blue and cold, and every trail ends in something worth photographing. And then some more waterfalls and some blackberry ice cream that has stayed with Mackenzie ever since. We wandered through Coketon, not the drink, the coal, remnants of a once booming industry. By the end of our time in West Virginia, we saw the leaves start to turn for the fall and understood why it's called one of the most beautiful states in the country. The night before we left, we decided to hit another West Virginia tradition, dirt track racing. Probably our most favorite night of the entire trip, and the halftime show was juice box racing. Little kids and little carts who barely know how to steer. Well, except for one kid. He must have been the son of one of the racers that night because he was lapping kids, and by the time they announced his podium position, he was already back in the pits getting his car tuned for the next race. And then, the morning we meant to leave, we had a flat tire. It delayed us for about 4 hours, but the service call was the cheapest we've ever seen, because no good adventure lets you go easy.